Have you ever wondered how public opinion can be swayed by media representation? Today we dive into a hot topic, Meghan Markel. The Duchess of Sussex, an American actress turned British royal, who has been at the heart of a media storm since her entry into the royal family. In this video, we'll explore the journey of Meghan Markel, her transformation from Hollywood to Buckingham Palace, and the role media has played in shaping public perception about her. We'll delve into the conversation between James O'Brien and a caller, discussing Meghan Markel and the shift in the caller's opinion about her. We'll dissect this conversation, analysing the caller's arguments and O'Brien's responses, and attempt to understand the factors that have influenced public opinion about Meghan. It's a discussion that's as fascinating as it is controversial. So, are you ready? Let's dive into a discussion that might challenge your perspective. We have a caller who initially liked Meghan Markel, but now feels differently. Caller, can you share your thoughts? Our caller begins to unravel their feelings. I admired her at first, really. She seemed like a breath of fresh air for the royal family, but now it's as if she's a completely different person. Intriguing, isn't it? A transformation, a change in perception, one that's not based on personal interaction, but rather media portrayal. The caller continues. She's constantly in the news. It feels like she's always seeking attention. An interesting point, and one that many have echoed. But does Meghan control her media presence, or is it the media that controls how we perceive her? The media writes about her, yes, but she also puts herself out there. The Netflix deal, the interview with Oprah. Our caller seems to be grappling with a common conundrum. Is it really Meghan seeking attention, or is it us, the public, endlessly intrigued by her? But wouldn't you, if you were in her shoes, want to tell your side of the story, especially if you were being portrayed negatively on a daily basis? The caller hesitates. I suppose, but there's just something about her. Let's examine the media's role in this. Meghan doesn't control the press, does she? It's a common misconception that public figures have a hand in how they are portrayed in the media. In most cases, they are merely reacting to the narrative that's already been spun about them. Take, for instance, our caller's claim that Meghan Markel is always in the news, making it about herself. But who decides what goes in the news? It's not Meghan, but the editors, journalists and media moguls who decide what stories to run and how to frame them. They are the puppet masters pulling the strings. Even when Meghan and Prince Harry do engage with the media, such as their Netflix documentary or the infamous Oprah interview, it's not so much about seeking attention as it is about setting the record straight. Imagine, if you will, being scrutinised and vilified in the public eye on a daily basis. You'd likely want to share your side of the story too, wouldn't you? But here's the catch. When they do speak up, they're accused of attention-seeking. It's a classic catch-22, damned if they do, damned if they don't. Let's also consider the sheer volume of stories about Meghan compared to other public figures. Is it not curious that a woman who has dedicated her platform to advocating for women's rights, mental health and racial equality is the subject of such relentless media attention? It's worth pondering whether the dislike for Meghan is truly about her actions, or if it's a byproduct of the media's portrayal of her. The press has a powerful influence over public opinion, and it's crucial to separate the person from the persona painted by the media. If you were portrayed negatively in the media, wouldn't you want to tell your side of the story? It's about time we critically evaluate the narratives we consume and question whether our opinions are truly our own, or if they've been subtly influenced by the media's portrayal. You mentioned there's something about her you don't like. Can you elaborate? That's the question on the table, isn't it? A nebulous discomfort, a vague sense of unease that seems to hover around Meghan Markel like an uninvited guest at a garden party. It's a sentiment we've heard echoed time and again, not just from our caller, but from numerous corners of the court of public opinion. But let's dissect this for a moment. When we say something about her, what are we really saying? Are we referring to her actions, her choices, or is it perhaps something less tangible, less definable? Is it a feeling, a gut instinct, or a preconceived notion that we're unwilling or unable to shake? We live in a world where we're encouraged to trust our instincts, to go with our gut. But what happens when our instincts are shaped not by our own experiences, but by the narratives we consume? Narratives that are often spun by individuals or institutions with their own agendas and biases. So, when we say we dislike something about her, are we really disliking Meghan Markel herself, or the version of her that's been presented to us? Our caller, much like many others, struggles to provide concrete reasons for their discomfort. It's not about what she's said or what she's done. It's not about any scandal or controversy. It's just something. And that something is often as elusive as it is pervasive. It's a shadow that hangs heavy, a whisper that persists, a stain that refuses to be scrubbed clean. It's a something that's been carefully crafted, meticulously nurtured and widely disseminated. So when we peel back the layers, when we dig a little deeper, we see that this something is less about Meghan Markle and more about us. It's about our perceptions, our biases, and our willingness to accept narratives without question. And that, dear listeners, is the real something we need to tackle. It's interesting how hard it is to find a solid reason for the dislike, isn't it? We're all entitled to our opinion, but it's worth examining where those opinions come from, isn't it? As we wrap up this engaging discussion, it's clear that our perceptions are often shaped by the narratives that are presented to us. It's crucial, therefore, to question our assumptions and consider the role the media plays in influencing our views. Throughout our conversation, we've heard our caller express their changed perspective of Meghan Markle, a shift primarily driven by her constant presence in the news. However, it's worth noting that Meghan herself doesn't control the media spotlight. The press has a huge role in dictating who takes centre stage and how they are portrayed. The caller also mentioned some interviews Meghan and Harry have done, suggesting they're seeking attention. But remember, everyone has a right to express their side of the story, especially when they are persistently scrutinised in the public eye. When asked to pinpoint exactly what Meghan has done that's worse than other royals who've had their share of controversies, our caller struggled to find an answer. This is a common response, revealing that our opinions, more often than not, are based not on concrete facts, but on vague feelings and perceptions. This brings us back to the something about her argument. It's an elusive sentiment that fails to provide a solid reason for disliking Meghan. It's a sentiment that perhaps stems more from media portrayal than the person herself. In wrapping up, let's remember that it's easy to form opinions based on what we're fed by the media. It's much harder to question those narratives and form opinions based on facts and fairness. Our conversation today has been a testament to that. Perhaps the dislike is more about the portrayal than the person. Thank you for joining this thought-provoking discussion. Our hope is that it encourages you to think critically about the information you consume and the opinions you form. Today, we examined how public opinion can be swayed by media representation. We dove into a conversation where our caller's initial perception of Meghan Markle was challenged. We explored the influence of the media and how it can shape our views, sometimes without us even realizing it. We delved into the something about her argument, a vague sentiment often used to disguise a lack of tangible reasons for disliking someone. We wrapped up the discussion by highlighting the importance of critical thinking and questioning our assumptions. Remember, it's easy to form opinions based on what we see and hear in the media, but it's crucial to dig a little deeper. Is our dislike based on the person's actions, or is it influenced by their portrayal? Next time you find yourself disliking a public figure, ask yourself why. Is it the person, or is it the portrayal? Until next time, keep questioning.